Hello, our weekly updates about artificial intelligence, Friday, October 11. And the main news, of course, is that 2 out of 5 Nobel Prizes were awarded to AI, basically. So, first Nobel Prize in Physics, and two people, John Hopfield and Geoffrey Hinton. Both are very famous. John Hopfield is now, I think, 91 years old, and he proposed what is famously called the Hopfield network, which is a very simple idea where you have neurons, or let's say nodes, and signal passes through, but also they're interconnected, so you have some associative how to say, connections between them, and what this may do, this may serve as a memory mechanism. So this idea was actually, he was not the first to propose it. Jürgen Schmidhuber, he actually wrote a very angry Twitter about it, because he said that Hopfield is very well known, but the original work was actually much earlier. He wrote a big article, which I actually highly recommend, which is called Annotated History of Modern AI and Deep Learning. So if okay, for some reason I cannot even follow it. I don't know why, but anyway, I highly recommend this as a good reading. And there was an argument that Nobel committee seems to reward prominence over originality. For example, Geoffrey Hinton. Geoffrey Hinton have done so much, right? He popularized backpropagation, although he haven't invented it. He co-invented Boltzmann machines, but again, they were invented also before him. He worked on distributed representations so that system saves information not in one node, but in multiple nodes. Again, this idea was before him as well. He built deep belief networks, which is this structure where you train one layer at a time. So this is called restricted Boltzmann machines. Why restricted? Because you do one layer at a time. And why they did one layer at a time? Because computers were very slow, right? So this is the only way they were able to train the deep network. And then for 10 years, he worked at Google. And in fact, Google ended up building a branch of Google next to Toronto University, where Geoffrey Hinton worked, so that he doesn't have to travel to USA. And then in 23, he left, and now he writes and cautions about AI may potentially be dangerous and so on. So yeah, he was nicknamed as Godfather of AI, and I think he completely deserves it. Anyway, so this is in physics, two people, right? And they both proposed network architectures, as you can see. Then Nobel Prize in Neural Networks in Chemistry. And there are three people. So one is David Baker. He is now director of Institute for Protein Design at University of Washington. And he is famous for many things, and I remember reading about it a long time ago. One of the things is he helped to create Foldit, which is science game, allows players to contribute protein folding research, which is distributed. So he's basically using home computers of players to do this to use the processing power of volunteers' computers to perform protein structure prediction calculations. So very smart. And the other part is Demis Hassabis and John Jumper. So Demis Hassabis is famous for inventing reinforcement learning, first like Atari computer games and so on, and then of course AlphaGo and AlphaFold. Like there are so many alpha models, but here it is AlphaFold, which is predicting three-dimensional structure of a protein from the sequence of amino acids. And the second person here is John Jumper. He is actually a specialist in biology, in proteins. And Demis Hassabis, it's more like the top person, because the DeepMind became a very big structure. Like when this was creating, I think they had like 700 people, and most of them are PhDs. So it's amazing. Anyway, of course, it's well deserved. Um, so one thing I want to say about Alfred Nobel, and by the way, it's not Nobel, it's Nobel, Alfred Nobel. So originally from Sweden, his father went to Russia at some point, and he was manufacturing different things, among them um, military equipment and explosives. And then the family returned to Sweden, and Nobel got very good education. He did a lot of stuff. He even has a chemical element named after him. I believe it's element number 102. But then the story goes that there was explosion on the plant with nitroglycerin, and his brother have died. But some newspapers thought that Alfred has died, and they published an article, and he read it, and he was basically named as merchant of death and destruction, and he decided to do something to leave better memory about himself, and he wrote a will so that there will be prizes for scientific research, and the first 5 prizes were awarded in 1901 after his death. The prizes are in chemistry, physics, biology or physiology, peace and literature. So, of course, the question is why not math? And then there is another story that there was a mathematician who stole his girlfriend, and he decided, like, he hated math because of that. I don't know if it's true or not, but it's just interesting. Now, when this week we spoke about these awards, one of the questions was, can AI be considered as a separate science? Well, we have sciences like math, information theory, biology, computer engineering, even considered a science. But what about AI? Well, we have courses, we have departments at university, we have scientific research papers, we have PhD theses, we have conferences. Like there are all science that it is a science, but again, some people are not convinced. I really want to see how, I don't know, Microsoft or Elon Musk or somebody will establish another Nobel Prize just for AI. Let's see, maybe it will happen. Update on Reflection 70B. So a month ago, there was a lot of noise. These two people, Matt Schumer and Sahil Shondheri, I'm not sure how to say it. Yes, they announced a model. So what they did, they call it Reflection 70B. They fine-tuned Llama 3.170B, and they fine-tuned it in a very interesting way. They generated synthetic data for this training, which would show how to solve certain problems. You know, in prompt engineering, it's a very well-known trick where you ask the question, but you also provide examples how to solve similar questions, and then you ask to solve this particular question. So you can do similar thing in training, and that's what they have done. And they provided this step-by-step approach in training, and they inserted their own tags. They call them thinking tags or reflection tags, and the results were very good. But then some people started claiming that, well, they actually show the Claude model on their server, some strange results. They couldn't reproduce the parameters. So it took the authors, mostly Sahil, did a lot of extra testing, and he wrote an article explaining like all the testing they have done in the last month. So it's pretty lengthy, and how they prove that model performance is actually really good. So these are improved, not improved, but verified and double verified results. And this is the original reported a month ago. And you see that they're very close. They found some bugs, they found some discrepancies in the testing software. So you see, for example, it was claimed 91, now it is 89%, a little bit lower. But still, if you compare it with the original Llama, so it is much better. 89 against 67 for the instruct model, or 82%, and it's 89, right? So you see it's better. You see it's really great achievement, this Reflection 70B. They released everything in the open, they continue testing, and they want other people to retest it and to reproduce. But this is really a breakthrough. This is really a revolution. So this is great work. Again, Tesla We Robot Robotaxi event was yesterday in Los Angeles, and Elon Musk arrived in his new Robotaxi, which is like a two-seat car, which doesn't have steering wheel and doesn't have pedals, and it just drives you. And they also showed like a van, which can hold like and drive about 20 people. And the price for this mini taxi vehicle is about 30,000, which is quite low. So they have Robotaxi, Robovan. They also showed the robots and Optimus, and they become much better and in their skills. There was a general conversation by Elon Musk about the bright future of Tesla as a robotics company, AI company. So next is abundance article from Peter Diamandis. And this is quite amazing. What he is showing that, and here there is a page on his website where there is a lot of data how things are getting better and better with time. So increasing happiness and increasing equality, increasing safety, reduction in violence, increasing health abundance. All these are clickable, and I will not do it, but you can do it on your time. So it's diamandis.com/data. Increasing energy abundance, reducing poverty, increasing technological abundance, increasing learning and literacy, increasing global connectivity. So this is quite amazing. So the cost of producing anything, it is cost of energy, intellectual property, raw materials, and manufacturing. And all of these are going down. So for example, the cost of raw materials in smartphone, which you buy for hundreds of dollars, or maybe $1,000, it's only $15 of raw materials. And all other costs are going down. And for example, manufacturing costs will go down even more when robots will start building robots, right? Intellectual property now is easily created using AI. Energy cost continues to go down with solar and other types of energy. So this is a quote from Ray Kurzweil. As we move into a world of ubiquitous artificial intelligence and automation, the economic model of labor and capital will evolve into a new paradigm where scarcity gives way to abundance. And this is some examples of abundance. Like, for example, communication, Zoom, FaceTime, whatever, effectively free. Generative AI, free in many cases. Good smartphones can be bought cheaply. Information is free on Google. Icon is now 3D printing homes for less than $100,000, and so on and so on. So this is Peter Diamandis. I absolutely love him. He apparently, from his last name, he is Greek. In Greece, they created a stamp with his face. He's famous for creating prizes like X Prize Foundation. Anyway, next, okay, this is a link on GitHub. There is a collection of 1400 jailbreak prompts. Okay, this article next, 2-bit quantization of LLMs. This is extremely important because there were multiple attempts to go from 32 bits, 16 bit, 8 bit down to 6, 5, 4 bits. But it's actually difficult to work with like extreme low quantization. So here it's a 2-bit quantization, and it was very successful and it was stable. It provided good accuracy, and you can run a big model like 70B parameter model on a single Nvidia RTX GPU, which is great. Just to remind you, there was a lot of work in this direction. So for example, this is from last year, October 2023. There is an article about BitNet, scaling 1-bit transformers for LLM. And the work continues in this direction, and it is possible to train the models with basically binary. So it's 0, 1, right, for all the numbers. But there are also some problems and some practical considerations, like to keep them stable and how you fine-tune them. So it's not black and white. Yes, they consume much less power, like like literally like 30, 40 times less power, and they can be pretty good for some applications. Next is the State of the AI report by Nathan Benaich. I really, really like it. There is also a video which kind of goes through the main ideas, the main highlights. This is a Google Drive document, so you can just go through the slides, and it's pretty lengthy. So it's more than 100 pages. So it's almost 200 pages here, 195, whatever. I will not go through the details, but this is a really good summary, good report. And next, Bolt.new. So it's a full stack JavaScript AI powered development. So what it is a system where you can ask it to build your application, both server side and front end, and it will build the whole application for you. But it will only do it in JavaScript. And well, it's a full stack, but JavaScript. So it will build it full stack application right in your browser using text prompts, the core elements open sourced on GitHub, and so on. Next is Aria from Rhymes.AI. So this is a first open multimodal native mixture of expert model. What does it mean, multimodal native? That means that it handles text, images, and videos by just one model. So the model is trained using all three modalities, and so it's a multimodal native architecture. It's mixture of experts. Anyway, and it's open source. So this is a big thing. Just to remind you, the first example of a multimodal, like a native trained, was Google Gemini, which was introduced last December. So now we have a completely open source model done the same way or similar way. Okay, robotic process automation, RPA. You probably will see this abbreviation more and more. So this is a way to use bots, agents to automate repetitive tasks. So this is a practical consideration. So this is the company UiPath. They do automation, although they do it in Windows, but whatever. Meta Movie Gen. So it's a series of 4 systems that generate videos, including consistent characters, alter generated imagery, and add matching sound effects and music. It is very impressive. I don't know, maybe here you'll see some demonstrations of so these are all generated images, and what's interesting, you can take first image and then you start modifying it with prompts. You see all these different versions of the same video. Well, they announced it, and hopefully it will be available at some point. Not like Sora, because remember OpenAI announced Sora, but nobody can ever use it. Okay, OpenAI released something called the MLE-bench. So it's a new benchmark to assess how well agents can perform machine learning engineering tasks. As with large language models, we have different benchmarks, different tests to say that this model is better than that. So now they're making benches for agents. And the idea is to improve the agents to make a self-improving AI. So this is a big concept, and people say again and again that next year will be a year of agents. EuroLLM. So what it is, it's a large language model which can talk on all European languages. So open weight, multilingual language models, 2 sizes, not 2 sizes, it's basic and instruct, can understand and generate text in all official European Union languages. H100 prices go down, and economically now it makes no sense to buy H100. Well, for a small user, it's cheaper to rent it. So the prices used to be like about $6-8 per hour for renting, and it was difficult even to rent because it was shortage. But now it is abundance, and there are many cloud providers which there is oversupply. You can easily rent it at $2 and no problem. Hailuo AI Image-to-Video, developed by Minimax, transforms static images into short dynamic videos. Control over camera motion, subject animation, overall scene transition. So you can guide AI, and for example, you can guide camera movements. You can say zoom, pan, orbit, subject actions, and so on. So you start with an image, and then you tell what to do with this image, how to transition it into a video. Produce high quality output, has prompt optimizer, so it's a very interesting project. Next is AMD announced a new chip which is called MI325X, and they designed it to compete with Nvidia Blackwell architecture. So it has a lot of memory, it has a lot of memory bandwidth, which you see it surpasses Nvidia H200 memory capacity and bandwidth. It has Infinity Fabric links, so you can combine many of those into one cluster with high-speed connections between them. Delivers up to 40% faster inference performance than NVIDIA H200 on some standard models. Optimized for LLMs, has good support for floating point 8. So this is now very frequently used format for parameters in networks. Okay, next, NVLM 1.0 from Nvidia. So Nvidia released a new model which is really great, and it is open source and can process and understand both images and text. So it can perform image captioning, visual questions, answering, document analysis. And usually when model is multimodal, then so text and image, then text is not good. But this particular model, text is actually not just good, it's better than other models. So it's excellent. So it has strong performance in math and coding, and it open source and Hugging Face. So this is great. Next is our leaderboard Arena. So as usual, green means open source, and on the top spaces we see OpenAI, then Twitter, this is Grok, then Google, Gemini, OpenAI, then Meta Llama, the big model for 400, and so on. Okay, so this is approximately as it was last week, and this is similar for coding. And this is layoffs. We're comparing September last year to October, but the month is not over, but there's almost no layoffs. And this is me, and thank you.